Hi everyone, I am back with my second flower journal. Oh, sorry, kicked something. Yes, this is my second fairy journal. Again, it took a lot longer to make this one because of all the fussy cutting I've done in it. It's very similar to my first journal, but in case you didn't see that video, I will go through it again. So I didn't use a kit for this journal. What I have done over the years is collected quite a lot of the Flower Fairy books by Cecily Mary Barker. So I've used her books and the images from her books. And I've also used the images from Edith Holden books. What I tried to do was find the flowers in the Edith Holden book that would match the flowers in the Flower Fairies. So I kind of tried to entwine the two. And also in my centre signature, I found a Flower Fairy year frieze. It's like those strips that you put around children's bedrooms. So it's like a strip of pictures that you put around children's bedrooms walls. And I found this in a charity shop and decided that it would make quite a nice signature. So the centre signature is made out of this. Also, in these books, if I can find one which I haven't cut up, for example here, each book has an image of a fairy and then it has a song of that fairy, and I have tried to include the image and the song of each fairy with the pocket that I made out of that fairy. If you kind of understand what I mean, I don't know if I explained that very well, but you'll get the gist as we go through. So again, this is a large journal, very large journal. I'm much bigger than what I normally make. It is approximately 7 3/4 inch that way, and a good 10.5 inches high. It has a 2.5 inch spine with 3 signatures in. Again, I have not counted the pages in the signatures, so I will count them up and put in the description box how many pages is in here. I just tend to go a bit crazy so with pockets, but I do try to include quite a bit of journaling space as well. So anyway, the enclosure is not attached, it's just a bit of tea stained crinkled satin ribbon, and it comes off. The front cover is a cardboard cover. It's been made with cardboard. I have put some batting on top of the cardboard and then covered it with fabric. So it's a fabric covered hard back cover, but made a bit softer with some batting. So the fabric is quite a nice purpley fabric. I'm sorry about the light. It is quite sunny today. Yeah, this was a child's dress that I found in a charity shop and cut up and used for the cover. I thought it was quite an appropriate fabric, beautiful fabric. The front cover is an image from the Flower Fairy book. I actually can't remember the name of this Flower Fairy at the moment. It's Greater Knapweed or something, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, the image, there is a fabric label on it that says journal, that's printed journal on it, and some paper flowers and some decorative stitching on tissue paper and music paper. Now, I'm going to do my best to keep this in camera. I don't know how well it will work. Bear with me. Right, so on the inside front cover, there is a large pocket. And this is of the Rose Fairy. I have tried to label the fairies where I can. I think there might be 1 or 2 that I haven't labelled, but I have tried to as much as I can. So this one is the Rose Fairy, and inside here is her original image and her song. So like I said, in the book, each image comes with a song. I fussy cutted most of the images, so I've included the original image and the song. And that goes in there. Then on the first page we have the Cowslip Fairy. This is a belly band. These are the cowslips from the Edith Holden book. This is the image from the fairy book. And here is her song and her original image. This is just a sheet of tea dyed paper. Here we have some thick type of tissue paper, and on here I have put an envelope, and I have fussy cutted out the bird's foot trefoil fairy. Oh, that's a mouthful, isn't it? The bird's foot trefoil fairy. So this is the fairy, and these are the flowers from the Edith Holden book. And in here, now with some of the journal cards, I have not done them separately. I haven't included two because there's just either not enough room, or it would make it too bulky, or for some reason I've done it where I've put the image and the song on a single journal card, like with this one. So there's the original image and there's her song. And that slips into the envelope. And on the other side you can see the tissue paper. Here is a ledger page that I have made into a pocket. It has a cluster of the horse chestnut fairy. I made the clusters quite a while ago when I did the first journal, and these were left over, so they don't necessarily have the journal cards that go with them. There is actually another pocket in this book that uses the horse chestnut fairy, so his song and his original image is in this journal. It's just not here, it's further on. So in this one I have added a different fairy. Obviously in the book there are a lot of fairies that are not included in, and flowers are not included into the Edith Holden page, so you were left with a lot of fairies. This one is the Plain Tree Fairy, and there is his song with his image. So yeah, there are extra cards in here that don't really go with Edith Holden, but I have tried to match them as best as I can through the book. On this side there is a large corner pocket of the Heather Fairy. This actually opens out and gives you a journal spot. This is avocado dyed paper. These are the Edith Holden flowers, and this is the fairy. And in here there is his original image, and there is his song. I really hope you could still see okay with the shadowing from the window. Don't know if closing it might make a difference. There. On the next side is the tea dyed paper. This is a page from a botanical book, and it has a foxglove on it. Picture. On the other side there is a fussy cut black and white image from the fairy book. She does include a few of these black and white little drawings, and I just fussy cut that out and stuck it on the page. Here we have a big envelope that's been made into a double page. There are two envelopes that have been attached with some punched card. This has been decorated with some gauze and a bit of dried flowers and a label that says flowers. And inside this one, again, because I haven't used an Edith Holden page to decorate this, because I've used this fairy. She wasn't in the Edith Holden book. This is the Mountain Ash Fairy. And there is her original image. And then the other side of the two envelopes, I made some clear pockets. Again, these are not associated with the Edith Holden. There is a journal spot here, and in the side the pocket there are some dried flowers, if you can see that. So there's some dried flowers in the clear pocket, and then there is the fairy. This is the Robin's Pincushion Fairy, and there is his original image and his song. And they just slide into the clear pocket like so. And then on this side I did the same, but with the Lavender Fairy. There she is. Again, there are some dried flowers in there. And then there is her image and her song. No, that's not her song. That's the Lavender Fairy, and that's the Lilac Fairy. Okay, I don't know how I did that. I must have got mixed up. I will find her song and I will change it so that you do have her song in there. I don't know how I did that. Okay, I will change that. I'll make a mental note and change that to the Lavender Fairy, not the Lilac Fairy. And that's there. And then on the other side of here we have the other side of the envelope, again with some dried flowers and a label that says garden and a punched border. And in this one there is the Trotter Grass Fairy. So there's her image and there is her song. I don't actually think I included the Lilac Fairy in any of the pockets. I don't know how I did that. The botanical page. This is a marsh orchis. And on the other side of there is a CD envelope of the Daisy Fairy. These are the daisies from Edith Holden. And I've also included a little saying from Edith Holden. It says, daisies, embroiderers of the carpet earth. I quite like that. So I included that. And in there is the Daisy Fairy and the Daisy Fairy song. Definitely got it the right way around this time. Again, some tea-dyed paper. On the other side there is a large double pocket. This is of the Dead Nettle Fairy. These are the dead nettles in the Edith Holden page. She had white and purple ones. And the fairy is holding a purple one. In the front pocket is his image. And then in the back pocket there is his song of the dead nettle. So that one goes in the back and that one goes in the front. On the other side of this pocket I've done a fussy cut image of the Tulip Fairy. Edith Holden didn't have any tulips in her book, which surprised me, but so I've just done a fussy cut, and in there is her original image and her song as well. And on the other side I've put another pocket on there. This is the Red Clover Fairy. I like this one because she has a little bee. I think it's nice when they add little animals in. This is the clovers from Edith Holden with the red clover and a white clover. And that's the fussy cut image from the book. And in there is her original image and also her song. That's a nice one because it's the fairy and the bee talking to each other. It's sweet. they slip in like so. The other side of the tissue paper, some more tea-dyed paper, and on the other side of here, see, this is one where I haven't labelled it. I obviously didn't have a label or couldn't find it, but she is the Primrose Fairy, as you can tell from her card. This is the Edith Holden image and the Flower Fairy image, and there is her song, and there's her original image. And then we come to the centre signature, which, like I say, I made out of that frieze thing that goes around a child's bedroom wall. So this all has the months of the year on. The first month being January, obviously, is the U Fairy. Now, a lot of these I just made into big page pockets. So inside the page pocket, there will be a card. Oh, it hits the wall because it's so big, with the original image and the song on. And that will go in the back top. And then on the other side is February, which is the Crocus Fairy, and she also has a card in there. See, this is why I did the fairies and the songs on the same card, because I would not have got 4 cards in that pocket. So I've done them together. So this is the Crocus Fairy. There's a bit of cotton on there. And her song, or their song. And she goes into the top pocket. And not, like I say, not all of the pages are page pockets, and where they're not page pockets, I've tried to attach the song and the image in a different way. So with March, I have attached it using a paper clip, which I just put a paper flower to it, attached a paper flower onto it so that it's pretty, really. And kind of, I don't know, she has little white flowers, so I used white flowers. March is the Blackthorn Fairy. So there's her card with her image and her song on it. Just open that again because the sun's gone in. So there's, yeah, her image with her song, and then it just attaches with the paper clip. I'm going to leave it off so you can see the other side for a minute. So on this side, there is a long side pocket. This is the White Bindweed Fairy. Now, in the Edith Holden book, she didn't have any white bindweed, but she did have pink bindweed. So what I did was I fussy cut the white bindweed out fairy, and I attached her to the pink bindweed to make the pocket. And in the pocket is her image and her song. And that just goes in there, and then I can attach March's card with the paper clip, like so. April, we have Periwinkle Fairy. This is a side page pocket, and there is his image with his poem, and that one goes in there. And May is the Laburnum Fairy. Laburnum, I can't pronounce all of them. And there is her card, her image and song. And then June is the Wild Rose Fairy. This is not a page pocket, so instead of using a paper clip this time, I've done it as a flip out. So she flips out, giving you that extra journal spot. There's there, and there's her image and her song. So July, no, we're not going to July. This is just a page. So this is a double pocket. It's got an envelope on it and a paper bag pocket. I've used the Cherry Tree Fairy on this one. In the Edith Holden book, she didn't have a cherry tree with cherries on, but she did have the wild cherry blossom tree. So I've entwined him with the cherry blossom, so it looks like he's sat on the same tree where some are cherries and some are still blossom. So in the paper bag pocket, I've included the Lime Tree Fairy and her poem, and that sits in the paper bag pocket to hold the envelope shut, and in the envelope is the Cherry Tree Fairy and his song, so it is included. That one goes in the envelope. And then these two just slip into the paper bag, and that holds down the envelope. Then we come to July, and this is the Willow Fairy. July's the Willow Fairy, and this is a page pocket, so she's in the top here. There she is. And her song. Then we get August, who is the Lavender Fairy, and hopefully this time she will have her song and not the Lilac Fairy's song. Let's have a look. Yes, definitely the Lavender song. And there is the Lavender Fairy, and I just kind of fussy cut it so her dress overhangs, but it's definitely the Lavender song on that one. And on this side there is a belly band of the little Herb Robert Fairy, and he is holding the image from Edith Holden, and he is sat there. I'm just going to remove that for a minute so you can see the journal card, the original image and his song. And then on the other side is September, which is the Crabapple Fairy, and this one is held on with a paper clip again. So there's her card with her original image and her song, and I didn't want to do the paperclip with a flower on this time because I just didn't think it kind of matched it like it did with the other one. So what I did was I fussy cut some of the apples. I fussy cut the apples out and attached that to the paperclip, so it's like a crabapple paperclip, and that goes on there. And then the crab apples just, there you go. On this side we are now on what? October. October is the Slow Fairy. This one I've done as a flip again, but instead of a flip out I did a flip up, so it flips up and gives you some journal space there. And there's the Slow Fairy. There's her original image and her song. I had to do her song in two pieces because it was quite a long one, so I just cut round some of the leaves and let them overlap, that's the word I'm thinking of, so they could overlap the song. On this side there is a pocket, corner pocket. This is the Crocus Fairy, so these are the orchises from Edith Holden, and there's the Flower Fairy, and there is his original image, and I did his song as a long tag because it's quite a long one, that one. November is the Holly Fairy, and there is his card with the image and the song on. And then December you have obviously the Christmas Tree Fairy, and there's her song and image. I quite like that. I think it's quite nice having all the little months on it and that. And then we come to the last signature. So on this one I printed out the Pansy Fairy onto some fabric and made it into a pocket with a little doily and button, and some printed her name onto some fabric, and in there is her image. As you can see, when you print it onto the fabric it mirrors it. So it's the Pansy Fairy, and there's her song. And then on the other side, It's just some tea-dye paper, some ledger paper. Here we have another flip out of the Ragged Robin Fairy. So it's the Edith Holden page, and then there's his image, and that flips out. And then there's like a little second flip out that has his original image on it and his poem on the back, and there's a journal spot underneath. So it's like a double flip out, that one. And then on this side there is a side pocket. This one flips open and there's a journal space underneath it. This is the Toad Flax Fairy. This is the image from Edith Holden, and there's the Flower Fairy. There is his song and his original image. This is just some tea-dyed paper and some handmade paper. Now, because I made this journal larger than normal, just normal A4 sheets were too small for it, so I needed bigger sheets. So what I did was I took strips of paper and just sewed strips on to make the pages the size I wanted, almost like a patchwork quilt. So it's just a strip and then tea-dyed paper. This is just some handmade paper with some petals in, which I thought was quite nice, and some stem bits. Here we have some thick kind of tracing paper, I suppose it is. I've put a little pocket on it from one of the little black and white images between chapters, and then there's a little plastic leaf type bead on there as well. And in that pocket is the Argamoni fairies. I don't know, I'm not sure, but there's their song as well. And then that flips out and it gives you a journal spot. Yeah, it's kind of like a tracing paper. This is an example of the patchwork paper. So this was the tea-dyed paper. I put a strip of music paper on one side, a bit of handmade paper on the other, and just sewed them together to get the sizes that I wanted. It's a good way of using up scraps of strips of paper as well. And then in the center of this signature there is a long pocket with little pockets on the front. So my daughter found these decoupaged birthday cards in a charity shop and brought them back for me, and I've put them on some guest checks and made them into pockets. I don't know a large pocket. This is the Iris Fairy. These are the older Edith Holden images, and this is the fairy image. The dragonfly is from Edith Holden. I just added that on the top so it looked like she was peeking around and looking. And then on the back is cut song, and they slip inside. And that is my second flower fairy journey and journal, and I thoroughly enjoyed making these. They were so much fun. I especially enjoyed the fussy cutting. I do find it very relaxing and calming, fussy cutting. So yes, I will list this one in my Etsy shop, and I will put it in the description below along with the page numbers. I will find the the Lavender Fairy song and put it in with her pocket instead of the lilac one. I don't know how I made that mistake, but I will rectify that. And if I can find the Lilac Fairy, I might include her in with the book as well. But yeah, I will put it in the description box, the link to my shop, and I will rectify those mistakes. And I would love to hear your feedback on this. Definitely. I think it'll be a while before I make another flower fairy one though. What am I going to do next? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a beach theme. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble again. So please do like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I would love to see your feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.